with music and dance.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Mitch Greco. How are you this morning, afternoon? Oh, we're in afternoon now. Good afternoon. How are we? Good. Good? I didn't hear much dancing. My African teacher would have said, you were singing like you haven't eaten in 5,000 years. Okay, that's not good. You don't want to get that compliment. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. But you don't want to get that. Okay? He also said, bad dancing will never hurt the ground. Bad dancing will never hurt the ground. So in a little bit, I'm going to ask you to join us in this dance. Okay? Lock the doors. Lock the doors. Because all of this music is all about community. It's all about participation. Okay? I could help to notice that we had a little stage here. I went up. And that's not going to work for us. Because in African music, there is no barrier between the musicians and the rest of the audience. That line is blurred. You don't go to a performance in African music and have the musicians dress up in their tux, and then you're arriving in something else. No, that's one of these barriers that we have in Western music. We don't have that in African music, so let's just become a community right now. What do you say? Yes? Yeah! It sounds like you haven't eaten in 5,000 years. Are you a community or what? Yeah? Okay. I'm Dr. Greco. I am the Director of Percussion and World Music at West Liberty University. The first question you may and maybe should be asking me is, why, how am I doing this? Okay, why am I playing this music? Okay, just a little bit of background about myself. I started off as a jazz drummer. In high school, I was a jazz drummer. I thought I was going to be going to Berkeley School of Music in Boston, and I was going to be playing jazz. That was my calling at the time. I wanted to be a music educator as well. So I went to this small school outside of Buffalo called Fredonia, SUNY State University of New York. Part of the reason why I went there, I auditioned there on my drum set, yes. And my teacher, the percussion teacher, went, oh, by the way, I think you might enjoy this. A master drummer from the Ghanaian National Troops, or the African Dance Ensemble. They kind of have two names. Okay, it's the premier group in Ghana, West Africa. Small country the size of Illinois. This small country the size of Illinois, their premier group that plays all the different Ghanaian music, okay, in a crop. The master drummer was coming to this little university outside of Buffalo and was going to get his bachelor's degree there. His first day of school was my first day of school. Oh man, did I get lucky. Okay? I picked him up from the airport the day before school started, and we started school the next day. I was having classes with him. He lived 2 blocks away. Unbelievably lucky. After 5 years of playing with him in Fredonia, this music and other music from Ghana, I decided I want to know more about this music. I'm playing it, and that's awesome. You know, I have some skills there. I mostly just enjoy it, but I wanted to learn more about it. Okay, because it's not just playing the music. It's knowing what it's about. It's knowing its roots. It's knowing its social functions and its cultural ideas involved with this music. So I went to get my master's degree in what's called ethnomusicology. It's basically music mixed with culture, the anthropology of music. And there I learned more about sub-Saharan African music. And I fell even deeper in love with it. Even deeper in love with it. I continued to play with Bernard Woma, my teacher from Ghana, and he's my premier teacher. Okay, so I have to honor my teacher. I learned at least the primary bulk of my knowledge about African music comes from my teacher, Bernard Woma. He unfortunately passed away from cancer just a couple of years ago. But his legacy continues with me, his sons, his family, and a whole bunch of other students of his, such as Logan in the back. Wait, Logan. I went to Ghana. My third time I went to Ghana was actually with Logan, and he knows my teacher quite well. Okay, so that's a little bit about me. In general, I think about honoring this music. I just fell in love with this music. I fell in love with Bernard. He was such a character, so energetic, unbelievable. We would go to play a gig, and I would see some people in the back, and I went, there's no way Bernard is going to get those people to dance. Eventually, we stopped making those remarks, because he got everyone to dance every time, without fail. Everyone was dancing. Okay, I know we have masks on, that might make this a little bit difficult. But I hope to get everyone involved in the dance, so I can honor Bernard Wollman, who used to do that all the time. Remember, bad dancing does not hurt the ground. If you dance badly, the ground would not complain. He would always talk in these proverbs, these African proverbs that make you think, what is he talking about? It's almost never being quite literal. There's always some metaphor in there. Bad dancing will never hurt the ground. Okay, he's always talking about that sort of thing. And the dance that you just saw is also indicative of this African proverb. Everything that you saw here today was actually indicative of something that happens in Ghana that they're proud of. What you just saw was a piece called kpanlogo. Kpanlogo is the name of this drum. It is the drum of the Ga ethnic group of southern Ghana. When they see this drum, this is a drum of the specific ethnic group in Ghana. Okay, this drum is called kpanlogo, Kpanlogo. It's also the name of the drum dance that you just saw. So in 1957, after a long bout of independence from Great Britain, the country of Ghana finally got its independence. 1957. Not that long ago. This piece was really made to commemorate that occasion. Using music to commemorate a certain moment in time is actually something quite common and universal in the human experience. But it's not really that old. It's a traditional piece because it uses the traditional instruments and the traditional concepts of Africanisms. Okay? Really void of European influence. So this kpanlogo, made in 1957, was made to unify the entire country. Hey, let's celebrate some of the things that they do in southern Ghana. Let's celebrate some of the things that they do in central Ghana, northern Ghana. A way to honor this entire country, a place that in the past, some of these ethnic groups were actually quite rival. There was rivalries between these ethnic groups before European colonization. But as they're trying to get independence, they're realizing we need to unify in a way so that we can kick the British out. That's basically what they were thinking. This is a piece that commemorates and honors all parts of Ghana. In 1957, this move right here, this was kpanlogo. They would be dancing that in the clubs. In the club, they would just be dancing, and they would move around and dance, and then move maybe to a different partner and dance for a while. In these events that would be hours and hours long. It's very similar to like this. They would be here. This is maybe the move, but there's other moves. Okay, and it's very informal, and people can come in and out. People can exchange partners. People can decide to leave the area. Okay, go get a drink. Come back later. That's what kpanlogo was in the clubs here. This is the move. All the other things that you did were variations. The other moves that you saw were variations of this move, especially ones that honored a different part of Ghana itself. This one is actually meant to depict the waterfalls, the Ensemble falls that are a little bit north of Kumasi, about 4 hours inland of the beach area of Ghana. So if you go to Ghana, you need to fly into Accra. You fly into Accra, and it's this big metropolitan city. A big metropolitan city. People are moving from all over Ghana, all the different ethnic groups. Small country the size of Illinois has 36 different ethnic groups. But where you fly into Accra, the capital, you'll find all sorts of people. You'll find the Ewe. Those are from Eastern Ghana. You'll find the Ga, whose drum this is. You'll find Dagbomba. You'll find all sorts of people in this area. But this move here is meant to depict the waterfalls. They're saying, you know, the people in central Ghana, they have a beautiful region as well. Their area is quite beautiful. That's making Ghana great. This is a great place. Okay? Some of the other ones, let me see. Here. Oh boy, I'm going to ask you what you think this is. Picking fruit. Who's that? Very nice. In southern Ghana, mangoes. Mangoes grow on the trees and they pick the fruit. But instead of a dance being maybe climbing a ladder and picking a fruit, they make it exciting, they make it beautiful. So they make something that's really quite restorative, something that's indicative of their place and survival. And they make it something beautiful. Excellent job. Okay, so this dance becomes very energetic, very beautiful. Okay, are there any questions for right now before I switch over to our demonstration? Questions? Good. Okay, come on in. Come on in. We're going to demonstrate some of the Africanisms that's indicative of this music. So this music is very rhythmic, right? That's our first African rhythm. We hear a lot about African rhythm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very rhythmic. But let me add on top of the rhythmic is that there's different layers. There's different layers of rhythm that combine to form a sort of tapestry. Our first layer, perhaps our most important, is this instrument right here. This is called the gankogui. Okay, that's the Twi word, which is the Akan word for this instrument. You do find this instrument in other places in West Africa, and there are some different names for it. But among the Ga, we'll play the kpanlogo. This is called the gankogui. It's an iron bell, it's an iron double bell. So there's a high sound and a low sound. It's said that this instrument is made in this way because this is the baby that's resting on the back of the mother. This is the baby that's resting on the back of the mother. That's how they usually hold, mothers usually hold their babies. They wrap them around their back. They don't typically do this whole stroller thing. Instead, they wrap them in a big clump, and the baby is resting like this on the mother's back. As a result, the baby is really doing the motion of everything that the mother is doing, including dancing. So even at a really young age, right after birth, they're like this, the baby is like this on the mother's back, and they're doing the dance as the mother is dancing. Yes, the mother would also dance with their baby on their back. So the baby is learning the dance at a really young age. That's typically how they learn. They learn by doing it. They learn by observation and imitation. In Ghana, there's no course, there's no class on doing traditional drum dances. Instead, they watch. They participate any way they can. Maybe it's a little dancing in the corner. Maybe it's dancing among the children in the corner. And then when they're all done, everyone's done, the parents went away, and they'll start tapping on the drum. They'll start imitating what they just saw. And eventually someone sees them and go, oh, you know this. Okay, go ahead and drum. Maybe drum the easy part, from one of the easier parts. And then while they're playing one of the easier parts, they're watching the harder parts. They're observing, and then later they imitate. They practice on their own. And then all of a sudden, this one time they play the master part, or they play the harder part, and they go, what? You can do that? Great. We can count on you now. You went up the ladder. You made your way up the ladder. That's how they learn this. A lot of players begin by playing the gankogui, this iron double knot. My teacher would always say that this was the grandfather of the cowbell. Okay, he's not wrong. Bernardo is not wrong. It's more complex than that, but he's not wrong. There's the cowbell. We know this. We know this instrument quite well. But we often don't get it in the context of the African or the African diaspora. Okay, we see that SNL skit with Will Ferrell, and he's just what we're doing is he's just doing a blue oyster song. This is often how we think a cowbell is played, but not amongst the African diaspora. If you went to Cuba and saw soul music, if you saw rumba music, if you saw mambo music, they don't play it like that. The Africans that made their way to Cuba and formed this instrument would play it much like the double bell, the gankogui from Africa. They would play it with a high sound, played with the bead of the stick on the body, and then a low sound with the neck up or shoulder of the stick on the end, or what they call the mouth. The Indian the mouth. Oh. Okay, so high and low. Okay, so the high sound and the low sound work together to come up with its own tapestry of rhythm. Okay, not played like we do. So my teacher was actually quite right. The grandfather of this cowbell is that gankogui, double knot. Okay, we could see that connection more closely if we actually know how the cowbell is played. For kpanlogo, this is our part. I want you to clap along with it. Okay, so get your hands ready. We're about to clap. Wait, hold on. We don't know it yet. I'm glad you're warming up. Okay, maybe you're warming up. Warming your hands. Well, we're going to hear the gankogui cycle. They think of their rhythms as cycles, not having a beginning and an ending, but they have one place that is the end and the beginning. Okay, well, I want you to listen to 2 cycles and then we're going to clap. Okay, go ahead. That's 1 cycle. Ready, go. Okay, that was exactly good for you. Okay, great. So if we divide that up, we find that there's 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Right? Yeah. One more time. Yeah. Okay. You see that? That's the part of we're going in the analysis. We're defining that rhythm in the 4 beats. Okay? So you can put your pencils and paper away. That's all the analysis we need. Okay. This part doesn't change throughout the entire piece. So through an entire playing of kpanlogo, there's really no variation. You're playing exactly that, or you're speeding it up, but the pattern doesn't change for potentially hours. That puts it as part of the timeline instruments. We call those types of instruments the timeline instruments. Okay, you got what was the first one. The axatse is the second. The axatse is an instrument that uses the resources obviously available to them. We have a squash, type of vegetable. Okay, so in general a gourd or a calabash here. In southern Ghana, it actually grows on trees. So this big brown thing actually grows on trees. Yeah, watch your head. You don't want this falling off the tree and hitting you in the head. That could be very bad. And in central and northern Ghana, it actually grows on the ground, more like a traditional squash that we may know. Okay. This is emptied out. This board is emptied out and then dried out. On the end of it is really something that everyone along southern Ghana, along the coast, knows how to do because fishing is so important, is making this kind of fish net here. It goes around the outside of this television. Attached to those, to the net are shells that you would find on the beach, that you would find all over the place. Okay, so this is really a great instrument of like southern Ghana especially. It uses these three different resources and modes of making this instrument to create what's called the axatse. This is called the axatse. Repeat after me, axatse. Wonderful, wonderful. This creates a really like a buzzing sound that they enjoy in West Africa all the time. It's a droning, buzzing sound. This instrument might change a little bit, but not very much. And the heart is very excited. But the one the dancers are doing here is great. Woo! You excited? And then they go back. And they go back. So this is another timeline instrument. We'll do the last timeline instrument. This is called the kagan. This is actually an instrument of the Ewe people. It's a long, slender drum. The ethnic group just to the east, the Ewe, played on this drum. You'll see that the construction is very similar to some of the drums from the Ga. And the Ga, really in the last like 50 years, have started integrating this drum into their timeline instrument. Okay, so the neighboring ethnic group is where this comes from, but the Ga like to use it as well. Again, a celebration of all of Ghana. Okay, can you play your part? There, Shane. Shane will play the kagan part for kpanlogo. So this part is very short. Shane, can you play one cycle of the kagan part? Done. I hope you didn't play. Let's play one more time. That's it. That's the part. Okay, now you repeat it. You repeat it. Okay, good. Do you see how this cycle is actually only just 2 notes? Thank you. Thank you. That's it. Thank you. Seems easy, but actually it's not super easy because we have to play it in relationship to the gankogui. So his part is pada, or degis. That's it. But it gets its real definition through its relationship with the other parts. In African music, it's all about the relationship. Okay, it's not against, okay, how does it feel based on where I perceive the beat. It gets its definition through how it relates to the other parts. Let's go to the gankogui. So remember our gankogui part. Let's all clap the gankogui part. You go play. Ready, go. One more. Not bad memory. Very good. One of the hardest parts about learning this music is it's never written down. It's not written down at all. You have to use your ears, okay, to learn everything. And remembering what it was, oh, that becomes really tricky. It's really easy to like meld it into something else. Okay? So let's remember that. Let's do the gankogui part one more time. Now you remember, it's only been 10 seconds. Here we go. Ready, go. One more. Good, and that's why you practice. Very well. Okay, so the gankogui part, and then Jane is going to play the kagan part, and you find the relationship between the kagan and the gankogui. The kagan player is going complete reverse of that. They're on the complete other side. So we often listen to African music from a Western concept, from an outsider's concept. Wow, that's really rhythmic. How are they doing that? It's crazy. There's not even a conductor telling them what to do. There's no conductor because there is no one single meter. There is no one single beat. We're all thinking of these as different downbeats and different meters the entire time. It's a tough thing to negotiate away from. Negotiate your Western self and try to learn how an African might think, or is more likely to think. Okay, that's the difference between like an emic, an insider's perspective, and etic, an outsider's perspective. How do they think of the music? That's why I always try to tell my students, always try to give them a little glimpse, a little insight into the emic perspective. How a Ghanaian would think of this music. And it's no easy thing to just stop being yourself. Stop, completely forget your training, completely forget your Western training, and think of it at the African perspective. It's certainly not easy. It takes years and years and years. I know it took me, it's still taking me years and years and years. I'm not done yet. Okay, I'm still trying to think and learn of this music in the Ghanaian perspective of the cultural insight. Okay, did you all get that? By the way, or did I blow your mind? It's okay if I did, it's okay. I'll be back next year and we'll revisit it. We'll see how your memory is in the course of a year. So those are our three timeline instruments. The gankogui, the double bell, the axatse, or in general called a rattle, and our kagan, the slender drum. The timeline instruments don't really change very much, or at all during the entire performance. There's also some other pieces that use the kagan part that you heard today, and uses a different gankogui. So there's some mixing and matching between the drum dances here. These aren't necessarily specific to just kpanlogo, just this one drum dance. It's almost like a rock beat. Boom, chip, boom, chip. Okay, that lies underneath. That's the general idea of what happens in a lot of pieces and a lot of songs. Okay, but mixing and matching, all of a sudden, now we're starting to come up with what is kpanlogo. The timeline instrument doesn't quite get us there, but it gives us the basis, like the foundation of what the dancers might dance to and the singers might sing to. Okay, so let's hear that entire timeline part. The gankogui, then the axatse, and then our kagan. that you need to know, though, is baba, baba, chi, baba. Baba means dance in Twi. Baba, dance. Baba, baba. That's the first half of our first call. Baba, baba, chi, baba, oh. Baba, baba, chi, baba, oh. Dancing, dancing. We are dancing. You join us. That's all that means. Dancing, dancing. We are dancing. You join us, and then you become part of we. It's all about that community. Baba, baba, she, baba, oh, oh, she, baba. That's the whole long call. When I do the long call, you respond. Basically, the exact same thing that I said. All the kids. Baba, baba, she, baba, oh, oh, she, baba. 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 Okay, that's a start. There's also a shorter part. Oh, she, baba. 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 Good. And I'm going to improvise on that. Karen, she, baba. Oh, she, baba. Shane, she, baba. Oh, she, baba. Jason, she, baba. Oh, she, baba. Baba, baba, she, baba. Oh, she, baba. Baba, she, baba. Oh, yes, she, baba. Good. So I'm going to do the long call. Who knows how many times? I might do it once, I might do it twice, I might do it 20 times. You don't know. It's not choreographed. I might do the shorter call. Who knows? Twice, 20 times. You don't know. You have to stay in the moment. Okay? It's not choreographed. I'm not going to tell you how many times. Most of the time, I don't know. So the audience or the people participating really need to stay in the moment. How many times do we do it? Okay? You don't know. All you do is listen. You listen to the call, and then you respond appropriately at the correct time. Okay? I can't be doing blah, 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 and you interrupt me. No, you have to wait. Just like society. Even if you know the answer, you have to wait until the person asking the question finishes. Even if you know, I know the answer to the question. And professor at the front of the room asking a question, and they keep on asking. Okay, you done with the question? Good, now I'll raise my hand, and when I'm called on, I'll answer. It's the same thing in this structure. You have to recognize the call and give the appropriate response at the right time. That's appropriate for you. Okay, but it's all improvisational. You don't know. This music is very improvisational. We don't know about the structure. It requires everyone to kind of be in the moment. Okay, which I think is a beautiful thing. Not everything is given to you on a sheet of paper. You go measure 1, measure 2, measure 3. You know exactly how it's going to play out. It's very improvisational. Okay, so we know our song. Baba, baba, she baba, oh she baba. Okay, dancing, dancing, we are dancing. You dance with us. You become one of us. It's awesome. But the call and response doesn't just stop there. It doesn't just stop at our singing style. It also is applied to our drums and our dancers. So if I can get our dancers to come on, on the drum, you're going to hear this. Our call. Flip, pata, flip, pata, zoom, goo, pata, pata, goo. Anytime you hear that, it's responded to in the dance. It's a signal. It's a signal of sorts. Okay? Flip, pata, pata. Out and in, bounce, bounce. Try that in your seat. Flip, pata, pata. Out and in, bounce, bounce. The dancers also have it in their feet. Heels go up, heels go in, and then bounce. Anytime you hear this. Even if it's slow, flip, pata, gloom, gloom. Pata, pata, pen. Even if it's fast. Flip, pata, flip, pata, flip, pata. Pata, pata, go. Okay, even if it's medium. Flip, pata, flip, pata, flip, pata. Pata, pata, go. Is that super clear? You guys are looking pretty good. I like that. So that's good. We have a little bit of dance that everyone can do, even as we push forward. Even if one of my kids want to, really interrupt me and do flip, pata, flip, pata, flip, pata, we would have to respond. Pada, pada, go. You see how that works? Sometimes we're looking at another, but it doesn't matter what happens. You know you're listening for it. Okay? It's not always quiet like that. It's not always nothing. This is awkward. We're waiting, and then flip, pata, flip, pata, flip, pata, and then we go. You heard our performance. It's really loud. There are a lot of instruments going, especially when we're in a space like this. And out of that texture, out of that dynamic, that loudness is the call. If you know it though, and you're practiced, and if you develop your ear, you can hear it at all times. If anyone plays no matter if there's an explosion going on, it doesn't matter. I still hear it. Just like if you walk into a party, there's cacophony. Okay, pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, you walk into a party, there's all sorts of people. It's crazy, and you hear someone call your name. Someone I know. It's crazy cacophony. If you know, if you've developed your ear, if you really know your name, and you'll hear it at all times. Just like flip, pata, flip, pata, flip, pata, out and in, bounce, bounce. That was pretty cool. Flip, pata, flip, pata, flip, pata, out and in, bounce, bounce. See how that works? So that call and response goes well beyond just the singing style, and is actually ingrained into all parts of this music. It's a way for everyone in the room, everyone in the space to participate. Everyone participates from this call and response style. One person can lead everyone to respond, everyone to get engaged with this music. It's different than a vocal recital. My wife is a singer, by the way. She's an opera and classical singer. She sings lovely. I love going to see her sing. However, as an audience member, what am I supposed to do when I see her and a piano on stage sing?
Sing along.
No! Wrong! No, that would be taboo, right? We're not supposed to sing along. It's a passive audience. You can enjoy it. That's awesome. I hope you do. Go see her sing. But it is a rather passive experience. In African music, one person does the call. Everyone is supposed to sing. That's supposed to happen. It's a way to engage everyone in the music making and artistic making. Okay? Baba, baba, she baba, oh, she baba. 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 Very good. Good. I didn't tell you I was going to do that, mostly because I didn't know I was going to do that until it happened. Very foundational and a little bit informal as well. Okay, I think we're ready to take a few volunteers who want to learn some of the dance. So let's take volunteers. Who wants to learn the dance? I will volunteer anyone that I feel like. So let's I think we can have 6 people. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. You're going to stay there. This is my place. Make sure you have a room. If the spirit comes over, you can join us. that is fair. Okay, 2 people. 2. Oh. 2. 2. 1. 1. Yes. Yes. We got one. Excellent. Thank you for doing it. Awesome. Great. Yeah. All of the people in the sheepies. Basically, it's kind of a generic sub-Saharan African shirt. Okay, you see this all across sub-Saharan Africa. As a general piece of clothing that you can wear for a lot of occasions. From just hanging out. It's not quite as formal for like a wedding, but a lot of rather informal recreational activities. Okay, how about you face that? You face that way, otherwise. Okay, all right. Stop, 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 stop. Take your body. Take your body. Take your body. Take your body. I saw some of these people that remained sitting. I saw some movement, some shaking the body. I saw some clapping. I saw some of this. You participated the best you could in that. Okay, great. have just a few more minutes, so I'm going to open up for any questions that you may have for me or anyone in the ensemble. Don't be shy. I see you too.
Oh, look at this question.
Yeah.
So is this a class up at West Liberty?
Oh, what a great question. Yes, it is a course that we meet every week. We meet every week and we meet every semester. So we always have African drum and dance ensemble. And we always have the steel band as well at West Liberty University. And that's both, I'm the director of both of those. And we sometimes have other world music ensembles as well. All sorts of people are in there, music majors, percussion majors, but also non-music majors. We have two non-music majors here. And we have two percussionists as well that play marimba and timpani and all that. And my wife is primarily a vocalist. So we run the gamut. It's open for everyone, and we obviously don't need to read music. It's a great, attractive part of this ensemble and this music. Yes, John.
Unless I missed it, the drum right there that you were playing, what, you didn't tell us, or did I miss it?
No, you didn't miss a thing.
Okay.
I totally forgot. Don't mind my blood. This is blood, my blood on it. Sometimes I play hard. This is called a jembe. You may have seen this. This is an extremely popular drum that reaches well beyond its cultural heritage, which is Mali, Senegal, parts of Ivory Coast, West Africa, even more west than Ghana. Okay, you see that it's similar in construction and that it uses ropes. In general, we call this a necklace drum because the ropes go around a steel hoop that you can't see, but connects the shell of the drum to the head of the drum. So this uses ropes. So does the kpanlogo. Kpanlogo, ropes. But then that rope, that necklacing, is tightened by pegs that go into the shell. So if I wanted to make this drum higher, I just need to knock these pegs in. And that will bring the pitch of this drum on. This rope, but not only one flesh hoop, but also what's called a counter hoop down here. And then the tightness between in the rope that connects these two hoops will decide the tightness of this. So if I wanted to tighten this drum, if I want to tighten a little bit, I just apply heat, either my hand or a little flame. If I really wanted to crank this up, it would take me about an hour and a half, 2 hours to take every single rope and tighten it. And then all the excess is here.
Harvey, is that commercially done, or they can't harvest?
This drum was made in Guinea, but I don't know about it because I actually bought it from an importer from Guinea. So I'm not sure. This one, the kpanlogo, absolutely. I actually made this drum. I made this drum in my first trip to Ghana. And yes, all the carvings mean something, but I'm not too confident enough to really say. But I did the shell. I drilled all the holes. I scraped all the pegs. I did all the necklacing on this drum. And with help, it took me well over 12 hours. The person that helped me by himself typically does 5 or 6 drums a day. It's unbelievable. My hands, my whole body from making this drum. It's unbelievable. Yes, you see that it is a full, a long piece. It's a whole thing. More questions? We have 2 minutes.
You have a question here.
Yes.
So if I think like a Westerner, we would want dance like for a wedding, a birthday. What are reasons there would be dancing and celebration in some of the countries that would be like good markets, things too? What are some
All
things?
sorts of things. Let me start just with kpanlogo. When you just saw, someone could just bring a drum and feel like drumming, and they would play something. Oh, I think he's playing kpanlogo. Someone is attracted to that sound. literally brings a bell over, or not even brings a bell, could just play like a beer bottle or something, and start playing the bell pattern, and what we think of as a whole event or performance to start that informally. So Apollo could be anything or even nothing. Just feel like it. That's what they do for fun.
Well, so we moved up from Florida and at the beach almost at least once a week, if not more. They'll do drum circles. I don't know who started or why. But someone will come in and then, people will gather around. Then it'll be like you just said, random items, something in your purse, whatever you make sound with. But somebody starts a beat or a sound and
Yes.
they play off of it. But they grow like 40, 50, 60 people in this bonfire. And it's, nobody knows, we don't know each other. It's like everybody getting together. Is there anything like that here, or have you guys done anything?
A drum circle? Let me just tell you just a little bit of my ideas and opinions about drum circles. First of all, I've led them, I facilitated drum circles, and I love them. I think they're awesome. There's also some connection of, let's say, the informality of a drum circle, just attracting other people. This is one of those things that music just attracts people. Awesome. But there also is a danger, and this is unrelated to what you're saying, but some people do confuse what we're doing with a drum circle. Because there is actual meaning here, and this is a cultural thing that really belongs to other people. And that's why I always mention my teacher anytime I play. This music does not belong to me. I am very privileged to be able to play this music. And for my teacher, after 4 or 5 years, telling me, I finally feel like you're free to teach this to people. It took 4 or 5 years of me to go for him to explicitly say that. Okay, but drum circles I do love. So don't get me wrong, but it is different. I know. Now, are there drum circles in this area? I don't know. But since I don't know and you don't know, I'm going to look more into it. And if you see a drum circle pop up, especially if it's facilitated by me, I ought to see you there. Awesome. Okay. All right.
Sisters of St. Joseph used to do one. I don't know if they still do.
Sisters of St. Joseph.
Never attended one.
I'll contact them and see what I can find out.
But I have a question. I didn't grade this high school. You can take any other schools or government program there with the schools we find it out.
Hopefully, after COVID, we will be doing stuff like that. I do bring my steel band and this group to elementary schools. And we should be back hopefully in the spring too.
I just think kids need to be exposed to it.
Yes, absolutely. And we go through the whole history of African music and how that came to Trinidad and was continued there. But it's time for this, I think, to wrap up. But if you have any other questions, please feel free to come see me or any of the members of our ensemble. Thank you so much for having us.